For more on the latest emails, plus the FBI investigation into the scandal and the possible effect on the 2016 presidential race, let's bring in author of Clinton, Inc. and the Weekly Standard's online editor, Daniel Halper. Daniel, appreciate you being here on a Saturday. This is still pretty new. We've only had these emails to go through for about an hour. The one thing that stood out both to myself and also to Catherine Herridge is the percentage of classified emails in this batch, 84 out of a little bit more than 550, 15%. Keeps getting higher and higher every time we get a new document dump.
And here's another point worth making in regards to the FBI investigation. The FBI has access, we believe, to Clinton's entire email server. What the State Department is releasing are emails that Hillary Clinton has turned over to the State Department. So presumably, and there was a long suspicion that some of them might have been culled and some of them might have been sent over what she, might have been withheld what she thought might be most damaging. So it could get a lot worse. At its baseline, though, as you suggest, it is already getting worse, and every time there's 15%. But each one is a potential crime in terms of... Each time there's classified information.
Exactly. And what's interesting is when you listen to the spin, the State Department puts out things on background. They send around emails quoting a senior State Department official. In this latest email they sent around to news organizations, they used the exact same words that Mrs. Clinton used. They said it's important to remember that, quote, these emails were not marked classified at the time sent. Same words, same defense Hillary Clinton uses. Is that a coincidence?
Obviously not. There does appear to be some sort of coordination. Either it's direct or indirect. Either the State Department is saying, well, this is what Hillary Clinton is saying, so let's try to mimic her language, or perhaps it's worse.
Does it matter whether the emails were marked classified at the time sent, or is that spin?
It would make it, I think, worse, and it is a separate crime, I believe, and I'm not a lawyer, but from what I understand and sources I've talked to remove the markings. Nevertheless, it is still a crime to mishandle classified information, regardless of how it's marked. And when she did become Secretary of State, as a standard for State Department officials, you sign a non-disclosure agreement and you sign various documents that acknowledges the fact that there isn't a difference between classified information that's marked or not marked.
Now, you promise that it doesn't matter what the information says it is, you're responsible for knowing that. What do you make of the fact that there were no questions at the last presidential debate? It got me thinking that imagine if there was 100 FBI agents looking into the Republican front runner for some possible crime. You'd imagine that would be brought up at the debate, yet at the latest debate, there was not a single question to Mrs. Clinton about this scandal.
It's really stunning. It's hardly ever brought up. I mean, in a way, she's shocked in an interview if somebody asks her about it.
Indignant almost.
Seems to be upset about it. It's very strange how we're handling it as a political issue. I don't think in recent modern times a leading presidential candidate has ever been under FBI investigation. I mean, this seems unprecedented, really, and it also seems not to be such a big deal. It's very strange, but then again, I do think voters, Democratic voters in New Hampshire, and you're reading the exit polls, I think they are actually taking it out on her. If you look at her trustworthy numbers, voters who care
about trustworthy,
92 to 5 are picking Bernie Sanders over Hillary Clinton. So I think voters are caring a lot more than a lot of the mainstream media, who are eliding the fact that
if voters are caring more, and as we've seen this Democratic race turn into what was supposed to be a coronation and is now a real race, for lack of a better term, and this is a heavyweight match, why is Bernie Sanders not bringing this issue up when clearly it mattered to voters out of New Hampshire that he won?
Well, he's made a political calculation that's not going to help him. We'll see whether that's the case and whether that's, look, in fairness to Bernie Sanders, the FBI will make a decision, the Justice Department will make a decision, and regardless of whether Bernie Sanders decides to make it a big deal or not. And so if he just sits back, relaxed, tries to unite the party around him, maybe it works out for him in the long run. It's a calculation. It's not necessarily the one that you or I might make if we were in that decision. Certainly not the one that Donald Trump or Marco Rubio or Ted Cruz would make, or are making.
Trump is already making that. Interesting, though, I mean, there's so many Democrats who are now saying to me, senior Democrats, that they're nervous. They don't want to say it publicly, but they're beginning to try to move the chess pieces if there is an indictment.
They made a big bet that Hillary Clinton was going to be their nominee. The entire Democratic establishment wrapped around her, and this is what the price they're going to pay.
Well, we'll see how the gamble turns out. Daniel Halper, great reporting. Keep at it. We'll have you back.
Thank you.
Thanks.